Gianno Caldwell. First of all, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
Thank you.
And I feel like we all, as brothers, have to ask each other this after this week. First of all, man, how are you doing?
I'm well. You know what? It was a very interesting time with the viral clip. First and foremost, it was a Fox and Friends appearance at 6:30 in the morning on Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was a particularly interesting day. The day before, I was booked for the interview, and I was booked prior to seeing President Trump's press conference. After seeing President Trump's press conference, I knew that there was absolutely no way that I can go in there and just talk about statues. I couldn't sleep.
Right.
I was very emotional when I got up because I'm like, yo, what is this really about? Like, how could he make these kind of statements? So went to the studio. I'm leaving the house at 1:15 or whatever it was. Got to the studio at about 2 o'clock because, of course, we operate on Eastern Standard Time schedule. And I knew that President Trump was going to be watching because this is his favorite morning show.
Right.
After a very controversial press conference, he's probably going to want to feel good and see some people that agree and say President Trump did great in that press conference. Unfortunately for him, I wasn't going to be one of those individuals that said President Trump did great in that press conference.
Thank you.
So
we appreciate that.
It was quite a time. When I got to the studio and got in the chair, honestly, I started tearing up while I was in the chair, but I knew that if the control room saw me tearing up, they probably would have canceled the hit. Or appearance, we call a appearance a hit. They would have canceled the appearance simply because, you don't know if a person is going on air emotional, then you just don't know what direction it may go. So people want a little bit of stability in what they're doing. So I just had to try to buck up. And then, of course, the tears flow when we went live.
All right. We're talking with Gianno Caldwell, Republican strategist. And, man, you know what? I really respected, man, all the things that you had to say and that emotion, man, because I was feeling that same emotion. I couldn't sleep that night either. I ended up writing an article about it because I just had to get it out. And, I mean, what the hell was he thinking, man?
Man, that's on everybody's mind right now. What the hell is he thinking? I don't know.
He wasn't thinking.
Where?
That's that.
When does he ever?
You know what? I don't know if that's truly the case that he wasn't thinking. I think that he definitely wanted to get his point of view out. You know, when the statement went out originally, right after what happened on Saturday, and then, of course, he went before the cameras called the White House on Monday, early morning. And I said President Trump has to get in front of the cameras. A statement he has to, go talk to the nation, similar to what President Obama did as Senator Obama in 2008 when Reverend Wright, the goddamn America Tape came out. And, that he went out, obviously, but apparently it wasn't what he wanted to really say. So Trump, knowing that if you go into the press conference to talk about infrastructure, race is a very hot issue at every point in time, especially considering his administration. He knew that people were going to ask him about that subject matter, and he was prepared to answer it in the way that he wanted to answer it. So when, someone says he wasn't thinking, I don't know. I think he might have been thinking, and I think he said what he wanted to say. And it's unfortunate that the next day after he said it, this aide said, he was comfortable with what he said, and that's it.
Yeah, that was
so
disturbing.
At that point, I got to give you that, 2-piece hold the biscuit. Like, really?
Right. Yeah, that was disturbing. And then to see the tweets that he put where he just tripled and quadrupled down on
right. Triple down on something that can be perceived as racist is what he did.
Yeah. So let me ask you, man, for Black America, now what? Now what do we do? I mean, it's almost my position was I was never a fan of the president, but when he got elected, my position was, okay, I'll agree with him when he does something that I like, and when he does something stupid, I'll make sure that everybody knows that I think he did something stupid.
And that's been pretty much my position. I will defend where I believe appropriate. Chicago is a big issue to me. So mentioning anything Chicago, because things are really messed up there, certainly I'll lend my voice to that, among some other issues as well. So you and I share that space. What's down for Black America is a question that everyone is asking.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I've been getting a lot of people reaching out all over the country, even all over the world. I've been getting inundated with emails, messages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, in IG, Facebook, Instagram. Okay, I mentioned it all. At Gianno Caldwell, Gianno Caldwell, Caldwell. Of course, you got to mention that.
Yeah, that's right.
But I've been getting messages from everybody asking, "What's next? What should we do? What should we do with this moment?"
He's toxic now. He was already low in our community. He's absolutely toxic now. How do you even what do you do?
So, and that's another question, right? So, a couple of different things to discuss in this moment. One of which, it doesn't even matter if President Trump were to try to come with something really great, a bag of money to help rebuild the Black community, whatever the case is. Our community is going to look at it with suspicion.
Yep.
And of course, there's going to be a lot of folks that are saying, look, we absolutely cannot be bought 100%. I don't believe that President Trump's agenda, whether it be tax reform, healthcare, any of those things, I don't think any of those things are going to move forward until there's a very sincere alert apology on what he said. This would have to be ultra sincere, but even then, there's still going to be some issues.
Right.
So, with that being the case, I know Republicans on Capitol Hill are trying to figure out a way to how to step back when it comes to President Trump. Republicans in general are doing that. I'm keeping the fire up by saying, look, my fellow Republicans, you got to call Trump out. No more of that defending stuff. Can't do that because this is I can tolerate some of the things that he's done that's been kind of outrageous, but when you're talking about race and impacting my community, the one that I was born and raised into, I can't go, bro. Not at all.
I know that's right.
I'm being as real as possible. I absolutely cannot go. So with that being the case, we got to keep the heat up, and that's why you see me on CNN, Fox. I'm going to continue to go in wherever they'll allow me. Because certainly he needs to know that people that have supported and defended him in the past are no longer doing that based on his behavior. So we can't be in that position any longer.
So let me ask you, we're talking with Gianno Caldwell, Republican strategist. Let me ask you, man, do you think that there's anything that could change from this? Because it appears to me, because I've seen and heard things that he has said that were, to be generous, racially suspect for quite some time now. So now it seems like I can't help but think this is who he is. So is there any possibility that he could change when he's a 71-year-old man? He kind of is who he is at this point, right?
You know what? I think there's a lot of people in America across the world who want to believe that President Trump can change. I think that they're considering that there's a short lifespan in terms of his behavior, his consistency. I think the longest we've seen him act appropriately, or presidential, if you want to call it that, has been probably about 3 weeks, maybe a month at most, at absolute most. And of course, that's being generous, as you would put it. I don't know what's going to happen from here because there's so many moving parts that are occurring behind the scenes. Like when I tell you, there's so much going on that nobody knows about. It's a very, very real thing. You got to be at that level and know the right people to know that there's some things going on, which I can't speak about when it comes to Trump and what people are attempting to do, because we've got to a point where there's no return. How do you come back from what he said outside of sincerity and authenticity, real empathy, understanding the struggle of communities of color, Jewish people, like really speaking to their issues. At this point, it doesn't seem as though he's capable of that, and it's disheartening, especially for people like me who's put my name and brand on the line to say, let's give this guy a chance because he spoke about issues that impacted the black community, which I appreciated, and I never really heard any mainstream Republican or Democrat talk about. So now, we're at a place in time where we just have to wait and see. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Right. And I know we got to let you go, brother, but I would be remiss if I didn't let you plug you. You got to plug your social media and let everybody know what you got going on. What's your next what's your next appearances and all that kind of stuff. I see you rocking. You be doing some stuff with Extra as well. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a special correspondent with Extra TV. You can catch me weekly on Fox News Channel, Fox Business Channel. Find me on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Gianno Caldwell. That's at GIANNO Caldwell, CALDWELL. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Hey, thank you, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Keep up the good fight. If there's anything that we can do to help you do this fight, man, we with you. So I appreciate it, bro.
Yes, we are.
And make sure you accept my request.
Yes, we can.
Hey, just remember, we out here.
Right. Jessica said to make sure you accept her request.
Oh, well, his page is open, but I just followed you.
It's open, but send me a message though. Jessica, because I've gotten bombarded with a lot of stuff, so I don't really send me a message. I love to check it out.
Okay, gotcha.